Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back another video day. And today the Baltimore Ravens beat the Cincinnati Bengals 35-34 in Thursday Night Football. What a what an amazing football game! What an amazing football game! I mean, great win for the Ravens. By the way, they get the season sweep on the Bengals. Back-to-back years they've done this on Cincinnati now, and before they've done this 2 years in a row, they hadn't done this since 2020. They did in 2019 and 2020 against the Bengals, but then did not sweep them in 2021 or 2022. But then these last couple years, last year and this year, they've now completed sweeps against the Bengals. It goes by twos. You're able to sweep them in 2019 and 2020. Then you can in 21 and 22, and then you're able to get the job done in 23 and 24. But this game, oh my God. I mean, it felt like a game of Madden. Let's be honest. I mean, with all the, huge touchdowns, Jamar Chase having two 65-plus yard touchdown receptions, the Tylan Wallace 84-yard touchdown. How about the end of this game? I mean, the way that this game ended felt like a Madden thing. If you're, going up against your buddy or just a random person, you're up by 7. And you give up a touchdown, and you think, okay, I might go to overtime, but the crazy opponent you have in Madden decides, you know what, screw this, I'm going for a 2, and that's what the Bengals did here. Sometimes you're able to get the stop on Madden and win the game, and most of the time that's not the case in Madden, and usually from what I've seen is that you'll see the other person get the 2-point conversion, because this was a Madden type thing to do, or a video game type thing to do, to go for it, go for the 2-point conversion on the on the 2-yard line to try to get the lead, and it didn't work out. And another thing that made it feel like a video game or a Madden football game was how many times the Bengals were going for fourth down. I mean, they were trying to be like Dan Campbell and the Lions. I mean, they went for it on fourth down. I think it was 4 or 5 times. I mean, they were very aggressive. They knew that they had to be aggressive that way in order to win the football game, and they were very aggressive. And it wasn't just the big plays like Jamar Chase's touchdowns, or the touchdown for Tylan Wallace that made this feel like a Madden game, but it was the other stuff like the fourth down attempts for the Bengals, the 2-point conversion attempt for the Bengals, some of the crazy other plays that happened in this game. This was a thriller. Ravens win 35-34. Let's talk about, we'll get into the scoring summary, we'll get into some other stats, but I want to talk about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. These two guys were phenomenal. Joe Burrow, 34 for 56, 428 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 11 receptions, 264 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. That's another thing that makes this seem like a freaking video game. But the thing I will say is that the thing I will say is that if you would have told me that Joe Burrow threw for over 425 passing yards and Jamar Chase had over 260 receiving yards, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be in shock a little bit. I would be like, okay, that seems like that could happen. Without T. Higgins, maybe the Bengals are passing a lot, and who are you going to be passing to if you're Joe Burrow? It's Jamar Chase. I wouldn't be shocked if you told me that. I mean, I would be shocked, but and maybe in a little bit of disbelief, but I wouldn't feel like it wasn't possible to happen. Now, what I would not believe, and just before, if you would have told me that this all happened, what I would not believe and what I would not accept and say there's no way that's possible of happening is Joe Burrow throwing 428 passing yards and Jamar Chase getting 264 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Bengals losing. That is that I wouldn't be shocked, or I wouldn't be surprised, or would know, or wouldn't think it wasn't possible if you told me Chase and Burrow did those things before those things actually happened. But what I would be surprised and not, and say that there's no way that's possible of happening is these two guys putting up the numbers they put up tonight and lose. I would never expected these two guys to put up the numbers they did tonight and lose. That is never anything I expected. We've seen Burrow have a near game like this, or maybe even I don't know. I don't think this is a game high of passing yards for Joe Burrow. So we've seen him, have a game like this before. This is definitely the best game we've seen from Jamar Chase, but he's had games like this before. So we know what these two guys are capable of, and Jamar Chase has to step up more without T. Higgins. But what I did not expect was I expected both these guys to have a big game tonight. Not a big game like this, but I didn't expect them to lose and have a big game like this tonight. That's shocks me. All right, let's go with the scoring summary. Another shootout between these two teams. I mean, the first game the Ravens won 41-38. This one, Ravens win again 35-34. I mean, this is another one where Baltimore loses a double-digit lead. It really hurts. Or sorry, not Baltimore. Cincinnati Bengals lose a double-digit lead. That just really hurts you as a team. It starts off with a Chase Brown 1-yard touchdown to make it 7-0. Then Nelson Aguilar with a 6-yard reception touchdown from Lamar Jackson at 7-7. Tanner Hudson with a 3-yard touchdown reception from Joe Burrow, 14-7. That's Joe's first touchdown pass out of 4. Jamar Chase then would have a 67-yard touchdown reception from Joe Burrow. Now this one was mainly Jamar Chase. Joe made a great throw to get the ball to him, but it was mainly run for Jamar Chase. The second touchdown was an air out for Jamar. Derrick Henry would then have a 1-yard touchdown run into the third quarter, make it 21-14. And this is when we would see Lamar Jackson's 84-yard touchdown pass to Tylan Wallace, another big run after the catch, and unbelievable job by Tylan Wallace to keep his feet in bounds. And here's where the shock comes. I would have believed you more if you told me Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase put up these numbers than Justin Tucker missing an extra point. I'm dead serious. I would have believed you more if you told me Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase put up the numbers they did compared to a Justin Tucker extra point miss. I would have believed you more with the Chase and the Burrow. Extra point miss for Tucker. It's the 7th of his career at a 507 extra points. Unbelievable. So that was not good for the Ravens, but things get better because Lamar Jackson would then throw an 18-yard touchdown pass to Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson would run it in for the 2-point conversion, 28-28. But it doesn't take very long. Another first play, big touchdown to Jamar Chase, 70 yards down the field. Joe Burrow gets it done, 28-28. But another Lamar Jackson touchdown pass, his 4th of the day, to Rashad Bateman. It's 35-28. Tucker finally able to make an extra point. Well, I mean, that wasn't his first extra point, but after the missed PAT. And then Joe Burrow, 4th touchdown pass, 3rd touchdown for Jamar Chase, 5-yard touchdown, 38 seconds left, 35-34, go for 2. Don't get it. Honestly, I like the call. Look, and any Bengals fans that are upset they went for 2, you would have been upset if they didn't go for 2, because I believe the Ravens still had a timeout or 2 left on their side. With 38 seconds left, you have one of the best kickers to ever do it in Justin Tucker. You only need 38 seconds with a timeout or 2 in your pocket. It's not very hard to get a game-winning field goal in that situation. And not only is it not hard to get a game-winning field goal if you're the Ravens, but if this game goes overtime, if they go for the extra point and this game goes overtime and it's 35-35 and the Ravens win the coin toss, we're going to see the same thing we're going to see the same thing happen that we saw in Kansas City on Monday night, and that would be if the Ravens get the football to start off, Cincinnati would never see it again, and that's one of the reasons why overtime rules need to be changed. If the overtime rules were different in this circuit, I think in this game right here, if the overtime rules were changed like people want it to be changed, I think there's a good chance the Bengals go for the extra point. I talked about it on Monday night after the Chiefs won, not just because it was the Chiefs. I've thought about this for years. We've seen the overtime rule get changed in the playoffs. It needs to happen in the regular season where the other team has a shot, even if the first team to get the ball scores a touchdown. And I think if they changed it to that rule, we would have seen overtime in this game. I think the Bengals kick the extra point and trust their defense with about 35 seconds left. So, yeah. Our game leaders, Joe Burrow, 34 for 56, 428 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 25 for 33, 290 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. I think what is very impressive about Lamar is how good of a fourth quarter he had. Lamar was not playing good in the first 3 quarters of this football game. I'm sorry, he was not. And he didn't even have 100 passing yards. Not even 100 passing yards in the first 3 quarters. He was not doing a good job at all. But it really got going for Lamar when he threw that 84-yard touchdown pass. Then they started getting more scoring drives. He led a 65-yard touchdown drive that ended with a Mark Andrews touchdown, a 70-yard touchdown drive that ended with a Rashad Bateman 5-yard touchdown, and he had almost 200 passing yards in the fourth quarter. I think it was 196 in the fourth quarter for Lamar. Absolutely outstanding. Joe Burrow was insane the entire game, but Lamar Jackson was spectacular in the fourth quarter of this football game. The rest of it, I mean, the fourth quarter of this football game, Lamar Jackson looked like an MVP. The first 3 quarters of this football game, Lamar Jackson did not really look like that. I mean, Lamar Jackson looked like, I don't even know what he looked like in the first 3 quarters of this football game. It was not very good. But the fourth quarter was a different story for Lamar. He showed up when it mattered. All right, rushing yards, Chase Brown, 13 carries, 42 rushing yards, a touchdown. He had a lot of carries in the first half, but his usage was down in the second half, and I don't know if they really trusted him that much after he fumbled. He only had 12 rushing yards in the second half, had 30 in the first. Derrick Henry, 16 carries and 68 rushing yards with a touchdown. Receiving yards, Jamar Chase, 11 receptions for 264 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. It just sounds weird to say. Tylan Wallace, 3 receptions for 115 receiving yards and a touchdown. All right, Joe Burrow ran for 6 yards. Lamar Jackson ran for 33. Justice Hill, -2 rushing yards. Chase Brown was very effective on the receiving end, 9 receptions for 52 receiving yards for the running back. Tanner Hudson, the tight end, and Mike Gesicki, the other tight end, were very effective. Tanner Hudson, 6 receptions, 42 receiving yards and a touchdown. Mike Gesicki, 4 receptions, 30 receiving yards. And for the Ravens, Mark Andrews, 6 receptions for 68 receiving yards and a touchdown. Rashad Bateman, 6 receptions for 54 receiving yards and a touchdown. Zay Flowers, 4 receptions, 34 receiving yards. Nelson Aguilar did have a 6-yard touchdown. And Deontay Johnson, not really looking great. 1 reception for 6 receiving yards, 2 targets. Lamar threw a deep shot to him, and he tripped. All right, fumbles. Another trade deadline acquisition not looking great. This one not for the Ravens, it's for the Bengals. Khalil Herbert fumbled in a snap that was given to him, and he recovered it. And Chase Brown lost a fumble. Joe Burrow had 2 fumbles that were near fumbles, and he did not lose them though. One of them that was lost, which was by Chase Brown, was recovered by Roquan Smith. Tackle leaders, the guy recovered the fumble. Roquan Smith had 12 tackles, 3 sacks for the Ravens, all for Madibike with 3 sacks and 2 tackles for loss. And the other tackle for loss was Marcus Williams, only had 3. 0 sacks for the Bengals, 4 tackles for loss. That was really it. I mean, no interceptions in the ballgame. We had some near interceptions, but those didn't happen. Ravens win 35-34. Great game, great football game. I was a little upset to see the Bengals lose. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. Love Jamar Chase as well. But I also like the Ravens. On the other end, I really like the Ravens as well. Love Lamar Jackson. Love Derrick Henry. So this is a game for me as a Texans fan. You know, like two players on both teams, and really didn't know who to root for in this game. But to be honest, I mean, as much as I wanted the Bengals to win this one and get the dub, a part of me is kind of happy that this one person that has been commenting on random videos that have nothing to do with the Cincinnati Bengals at all, he's been commenting that the Bengals are going to finish the season 12-5. I mean, 3-4 times this guy's done this. And look, I've said multiple times this guy. I like your belief. Bengals aren't going 12-5. Maybe they could finish the season 10-7 and make the playoffs. But that's the farthest they're gonna go. The dude keeps commenting that. Can't comment that anymore. 4-6 now. But I guarantee you now he's gonna probably comment the Bengals are gonna go 11-6. You watch. Great football game. Felt like a Madden game, but still was an amazing one tonight. To start off Week 10. This video, hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.